Thank you to all whose hearts and minds are with my family in New York. It means so much to us, and you are all deeply appreciated as we share our grief and struggle to find solace. When I heard the sad news, my first thought was that one of our biggest, brightest lights has gone out. But then I quickly realized that the light emanating from the life of Norman Sarnoff, Olav Hashalom, was not finished producing illumination and warmth. You see, he put forth the light of loving kindness, which defies and survives even death. Uncle Norman's light will shine like the Ner Tamid. The Ner Tamid, eternal light, hangs above the ark in each synagogue. Our sages interpreted the Ner Tamid as a symbol of God's eternal and immediate presence in our communities and in our lives. The eternal light of Ner Tamid is never extinguished or turned off, and so it will be for my beloved Uncle Norman. All our hearts are with Norman's wife Ruth, daughter Debbie, Bob, and grandson Will, also known as Zev. By any name, he loved you, and so do we. Son Andy and Jorge. How fortunate we are to have had Norman Sarnoff for his long and wonderful life. Uncle Norman was very special to me, to each of you, and to anyone he encountered. Such was the strength of his spirit toward people. I'm honored to share some of my reflections on a truly great and treasured man. When I was a young man headed west, he told me, 516-623-4646. That's the only number you need to know. His number. He preferred talking to people directly rather than with email or text. He had his own style and a wonderful, whimsical way with words. When it would come time to hang up the phone, I would say, "I love you, Uncle Norman." He'd reply, "And me too, you." Nearly 30 years ago, I thanked him and Aunt Ruth for coming to our wedding in San Diego. He said, "You're my family. Just tell me where and when, and I'll be there." That made a great impression on me. Of course, it's easier said than done, but if you can do it, that's the right way to be. From my view, out on a limb here in California, I could see how proud he was and how much he cherished his beautiful, precious, big family tree of nieces, nephews, grandnieces, grandnephews, even great-grandnieces and great-grandnephews. Love and devotion to family formed a firm foundation for the principled life he led. He loved and cared for his parents, Nanny Rose Olav Hashalom and Zadie Nat Olav Hashalom, and that caring was passed on to his children. He also relished a shared bond between brothers. He adored middle brother Irving Olav Hashalom and Suzanne Olav Hashalom, his niece Sarah and Jeff, nephew David and Pepper and their families. He held dear and thought the world of my father, the oldest brother Paul Olav Hashalom, Lucille Olav Hashalom, nephew Alan Olav Hashalom, Nancy Olav Hashalom, nephew Mitch and Denise and their families. Too many Olav Hashaloms. He delighted in, loved, and was always so good to my wife Tracy and me and our children Zach and Leah. I can hear him singing, "California, here I come," whenever he'd see me. I savored the sight of Uncle Norman playing the hand slap game with Leah when she was a toddler, and even still when she grew into a young woman. I basked in and got a little verklempt at him speaking with Zach about approaching being a lawyer as a profession more than a business. He was such a great man. His birthday is celebrated from December 31st to January 2nd. Well, okay, I'm still not certain of his actual birthday, but that Nanny Rose wanted a New Year's baby makes for a better and more poetic story. And what a storyteller he was. From tales of his Navy days, all throughout his esteemed career in the law, I always wished we had him on tape. What great books they would make. Don't get him started on politics. And what a great love story he shared with his inseparable partner, dear Aunt Ruthie. Married for nearly 70 years, they were always there for each other. She was invaluable to him in the office and in life. Oh, how she looked after him and showed us all what it means to truly love and care for someone. He took pride and was pleased as punch in her poker playing prowess. He wasn't a gambler, but on trips to Las Vegas and Atlantic City, he enjoyed the trappings of accompanying a shark dressed in granny's clothing. I was so lucky to grow up across the street from them. He and Aunt Ruthie built a warm home and wonderful life together. You may say the environment on Jordan Street was a bit different than that on Poplar. At times we may have had an excess of yelling, communicating, in our household. As a child, across the street I found a refuge of wonders. After school, playing cards with Nanny and Zadie, snacking on vanilla sugar wafers in Aunt Ruthie's kitchen, playing with their sweet poodle Gypsy, sitting amazed and starstruck by my big cousins. I thought, Debbie can speak Spanish? And Andy plays the piano so beautifully, as if he's accompanied by angels. Those were the salad days for me. Little did I suspect there would be so much salad in my future. Uncle Norman was very proud of the extraordinary determination, amazing accomplishments, and great, generous people his children and grandson have become, and we are too. I have tremendous admiration and respect for Uncle Norman. I look upon him as a role model and like to say he and I formed the youngest of three brothers club. We shared much in common, including that we both loved to hear Andy play the same song over and over again. He was the patriarch of our family, sensible, stalwart, and kind. In our darkest hour, he brought Mitchell and me in to receive his counsel. He and Aunt Ruth went way, way above and beyond helping us navigate the passing of our parents and our brother and sister-in-law. I remember sitting in Uncle Norman's office with Mitchell. When it came time for us to sign documents, Uncle Norman reached across the desk and said, "Use my lucky pen." We noticed he had several nice pens, and Mitch asked, "What about those?" Uncle Norman replied, "They're all lucky, and we are so lucky to be his nephews." One day, out in California, I received a call from my old friend Barry on Long Island. He was putting together a restaurant deal and was looking for another lawyer to consult with. I gave him Uncle Norman's number. He brought his father with him out to Morgan Island to meet Norman. Barry received very specific driving directions, concluding with, "Turn left into the driveway, park the car, shut off the engine, open the door, get out, and you'll see a sign that says Norman Sarnoff, attorney at law. That's me." Later on that day, my phone rang, and it was Barry who reported, "I just left an office of wisdom." Aunt Ruthie, my dear cousins, today and always you have our kindest prayers for peace. May his memory be a blessing in that, like the light of the Ner Tamid, the wise, wonderful, loving memories of our dear Nucham will continue to live on and light the way for us, Lador Vador, from generation to generation. Uncle Norman, thank you for being such a shining light to us. You loved us, and we too, you.